Okay, so we are officially live on social media. Today is June 23rd. We are Reflection Artist Live, number 34. We have special guest Dan Williams, uh, business development co-owner, Owner's Pride. If you haven't heard of Owner's Pride, you'll get to know it now in this episode. But most of all, you'll get to know who Dan is and how he came into the industry, and of course, everything he's done within the industry as well in his path of leading up to being a big part of Owner's Pride at this point. So thank you, Dan, for being on with us and taking your time out of the day to sit with us and chat. And tell us a little bit of how you got involved into the wonderful world of detailing and where it all started.
Hey, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here. And I think if I look back on my life, probably one of the first memories of detailing, which my dad busted my balls on this until the day that he died. He had bought a brand new Ford pickup truck and it was blue. And I went out to wash it for him and it had bugs on the front. And I used a green scrubby pad
Ooh.
to like wash the entire front of his brand new truck. And, it looked absolutely fine when it was wet. And I definitely got the bugs off of
Yeah,
there.
looks
But,
amazing. Look at this, Dad.
it was so as I ended up detailing cars, he razzed me about that the entire time, which was really funny.
That was a first and last experience, I'm sure.
I have while I had my detailing business, I have paint corrected cars with a very similar situation, which was heartwarming to me. And a funny story to tell the parent, whose car it was, who didn't find it quite as funny at the time, but I'm sure they're going to look back and they're going to think that's funny. But that was like my very first part that I remember. And in probably 1984, 84, 85, I got my first car, which was a 1980 Pontiac Sunbird 4-cylinder, and it was black. And I used to go out there and probably with some new finish or turtle wax, at the time, and some dish soap, wash that car and hand wax it every weekend. They thought I was going to rub the paint off of it. So I've from the very first time I had a car, I was very, very meticulous with it. That kind of led me up through in my 20s. I went to school, didn't finish, but I went to school at Indiana State and had a blast from what I can remember. Moved to Phoenix and waited tables all through my 20s, and I played music and toured with a band called Pollywog out of Phoenix, Arizona. We would play in Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and California, and it was
Wow, that's
it
quite
was
the
a
bandwidth.
fun lifestyle, and I lived it to its fullest and partied like a rock star. And by the time I was 29, I went to rehab for my second time, as I found out over the long run that drinking makes me homeless.
Yeah.
And I moved to San Diego with the band that I had been in, and I was about 34 years old and working in restaurants and, not drinking and partying like I was anymore. And it was time to move to the next level. And I just couldn't see myself going into corporate restaurant management. It seemed like a really glorified babysitting position. And
Especially when you watch the uppers and how they have to do it and hear all the crap they got to deal with. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to take that route.
Not to mention, you're signing up to work twice as many hours to make the same amount of money. So
for a fixed pay.
Yeah, it just was not going to be for me. So I had just bought a new truck myself. And I'm sorry if this is a little long-winded.
No, keep it going. And
So
I failed to mention, you've got, and not to interrupt you, but Dan has 19 years experience in this industry. So he has a lot to say, but he also has a lot of background in the industry, which is nice because he's owned his business for 13, 19 in the industry. So, I mean, there's a lot to say. So just want to put that out there. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I got that new truck and my buddy's next door neighbor had a little mobile detailing business. And he said, hey, I'll put a paint sealant on that for you, for $400 and I was like, wow, that's a good deal. Cause the dealership wanted me to charge me X amount of money. And
what year was this?
This was in about maybe 03.
Okay.
I believe.
All right. That sounds about right in that timeline of paint sealants. That's why I asked. Yeah.
It actually was. It was before ceramic coatings.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think I was there at the dawn of that little piece of history too. Um, I watched him do my truck and I gave him $400 and I was like, I'm pretty meticulous and clean. I think I could do this. That fella let me ride along with him for 2 days and he kind of showed me what he did. Went to the store with me. I had $1,100 saved up and we bought some chemicals. I had one of those rounds, Sears buffer things.
A big gem orbital polisher.
Yeah, but except plastic and cheap.
Oh yeah, the Craftsman one. Yeah,
Yeah,
where you change the
exactly.
bonnet on it. Yeah.
And that was what I started with. And I detailed on my 2 days off at the restaurant, which were Thursdays and Fridays. And then as I stacked up more work over time, I left that and, I would work one less day at a restaurant and one more day detailing until I got down to 1 day and they were like, okay, go live your dream.
Nice.
And that's something that has like followed me all the way through, that somebody came and took the time that they did not have to do. And even in the same town, in the same, Ocean Beach, California, to like help show me the way to make it so I could start my own business. And, this is before we had YouTube and before Facebook. The only thing we had back then was a BBS deal, where a message board, and it was called Mobile Works. But so it was, I've
Almost
always
like
kept that at the
traditional
heart.
forums.
Exactly. But I've
Yeah.
always taken that somebody took the time. And a similar story happened to me with boats when I was started detailing boats, where a guy who was working next to me just came onto the boat that I was working on and showed me what to do, because I was like, do we just rinse this suds into the water here in the ocean? And I think that's something that I've carried through. And one of the most enjoyable parts of the industry in the long run for me is helping other people to, achieve their goals and live vicariously through their accomplishments.
Nice. Now, with with the detailing, do you feel that, with riding in the vehicle with that person, that individual, do you feel you're on the right track of proper training, or were there things that over time that you got more involved and broke away that you learned the right way, or was it pretty solid in regards to the foundation of what you learned out the gate?
And no, I mean, we used some pro products, with no, I mean, and absolutely no offense to that. That's
No,
the line that I started with. But I had a, Sears buffer thing, and I had asked him, his name was Robbie, and I asked him about using a rotary buffer, and he's like, you don't need to use that ever. You'll just mess something up. I asked him about claying, and he was like, yeah, you don't want to clay things, you'll scratch the paint up. So it was definitely not any kind of a traditional training by any means, but it
How
was
about the boat situation?
uh
Same idea, where you kind of got some guidance, but it wasn't 100%.
he was on point. He
Yeah.
really showed me how to go in and clean the insides of the boats, how to always make sure that your bright work is super shiny, because that's the first thing the customer is going to see. How to, from the bathrooms and the beds and the laundry in them to the doing the teak flooring on the boats with the part A and part B. That guy was really on point.
Nice. Nice. How much did you get involved on the boat side of detailing versus the automotive? Was it well balanced, or did you serve one over the other more?
Definitely a lot more cars than boats. But being here in San Diego with so much water around and so many boats, it was always a really cool way to break up my day. I was mobile my entire career.
Oh,
So,
nice.
on days when you just go out and wash a boat and then sit down on the boat and chill in the marina for a while. A lot less pressure when you're, a small business and mobile by yourself mostly.
You get to soak up the moment and the atmosphere, and you can't replace that.
No.
Usually a parking lot compared to a boat arena. I think I'd rather be on a boat looking around the arena than the parking lot.
Yeah, big fat seals sitting on the dock with you. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. So with that, I mean, and everything you picked up and learned, and I'm sure the business took off. Did you grow with the business in regards to employees, or did you stay just you and maybe a helper? How did all that work out?
So as I really got to go in, I hired somebody on early. I had up to 3 employees for a while. Um, and they were all kind of part-time, so they rotated in and out. And off and on, I would have a helper with me, but at least half of the time it was just me and my dog Spike. And there was a certain peace and simplicity to life that I didn't even realize at the time. And I think that just happens to people over and over, where you're living and you're always trying to reach the next rung on the ladder, and you don't take the time to really appreciate the moment. But being able to hang out with my dog every day, stop and play frisbee whenever it struck us, made great money. It was a really cool time of life, and a great foundation to, to get to the next place.
And I'm sure that helped a lot with your transition, not only from just going from the restaurant atmosphere, but from the earlier years of the troubles you were having with alcohol. I'm sure this helped keep you on a path that you were super satisfied with and away from all that nonsense as well.
Yeah, a lot less stress when you don't have somebody yelling at you to bring them some iced tea,
Yeah, 100%. So at what point then over the years did you have the opportunity to join up in the industry with, with Opti, or, and get, I would say, exposed to that, to being part of that team? Because I'm sure that was a good transition from you having your own business into being a part of that brand.
Yeah, and much like how I left my restaurant job into detailing, it was very similar. Ivan LaCroix and myself, and a fellow named Chris Thomas at the time, we were all like reps. Hmm. I went to SEMA one year by myself, and David had a booth there for the first year, and it was just him and Chris Thomas. And I was, walking around the floor by myself, and I was at his booth. Somebody came up and asked a question, so I just answered it like I worked there. And then somebody asked another question, so I weaseled my way behind. And then I came back the next day, and the next year, he was like, "Hey, do you want to come to SEMA? And I'll take care of your whole thing if you come and work the booth." And that's kind of how that rolled in. I just kind of weaseled my way in. I always tell the guys, working with detailing, you're around so many influential people, whether it's businesses in the industry or your customers who, it's a luxury item. So always be on the lookout for opportunities, because they just present themselves to you. And I could have not done this. I could have just gone and found somebody and screwed off for the day, or done, whatever. But because I didn't, I saw that opportunity, and I just jumped on it. So we became, Ivan and Chris and I were all consultants. And then it got to a certain point where I was told, it's time to sell your business and come on full time, which I did. So I had my detailing business for 12 and a half, 13 years. And I ended up selling that to Dustin, who's our Western regional manager. And I tell you, I cannot think of a single person that would have been better to take that business and run with it, because he's grown it to twice of what I had, even being mobile. Now he's moving into a shop and really expanding and hiring people. And I still feel he should have left the cartoon logo of my head as the logo for the business, but seriously, so proud of what he has taken, picked up the ball and run with.
That's awesome when you can do that, to continue that legacy of what you had started, and to even make it better, and that's always the hope and dream, right? Somebody else could take this baby and grow it into something bigger than what, not say you couldn't, but to watch it from the outside versus being on the inside.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And that's a really important point also, that a lot of the younger guys in the industry probably don't really think about. But there's going to kind of come a time when it's going to physically get harder to detail, and you don't think it is now. And I had a full hip replacement surgery 2 years ago, and just the squatting down and doing all of the low parts for me towards the end of my detailing full-time career, it got really, really hard to do. So it's important, no matter what phase of your business that you're in, you're always eyeing the future and, having some kind of a plan.
Now, I take it, just to go back a little bit, that you obviously were using Opti products in your business prior to going to SEMA that first year. So that allowed you to be knowledgeable and answer those questions as well, correct?
Yeah, I had somehow hooked up with Ivan at a trade show at one point, and we became friends. And he was, on the Opti train at that time as well. And that's another little nugget of wisdom that I try to tell a lot of young detailers. There's so many products out there, and there's a lot of great products. But if you can find a company that you like the support that you get from the company and the philosophy of the company, and they have good products and you can become the best with those. Joe Fernandez told me that very early on, because I was one of the product jumpers in the early days, always thinking I needed to try this new machine or this new polish, and it was going to like somehow turn my buffer into a magic wand.
Nope.
No,
It may or may not make it a little bit easier, maybe a little bit more effective, but at the same day, it's these that are the difference. This that is the difference. Yeah,
absolutely.
those are just tools to help us get to the end result. Obviously better, but that sometimes doesn't change anything. It's
Yeah,
cool.
right.
It's cool to get the new stuff. It's cool to try the new stuff. So that way, when you speak on it, you're not speaking on it blindly. You're actually speaking out of experience. But yeah, I agree 100%. So with your time at Opti, what are the different positions that you were able to grow into and play out?
So we started there as a consultant while I had my detailing business. And then I became a rep or a regional manager for the Western US. Um, I was a very key player in developing a dealership program. And that kind of propelled me up to vice president of business development at the time. And you know, I learned a ton. The titles that I was given, definitely helped propel me to my next phase of life.
Well, I can tell you this, that, speaking on the brand while we're on the subject, is that, Opticote was very instrumental in the industry for detailing, for ceramic coatings, especially in North America. To my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was right around the 2008 timeframe, and that the Opticote came out, and it also helped set the stage for ceramic coatings in North America. Am I right? As one of the first leading brands.
I believe so. I was always under the impression that with his background and coming from the paint, making paint, clear coat paints, that he was one of the innovators. And everybody really a nod of the hat to him for changing the detailing industry overall. Made there, you didn't used to get paid $1,500 or $2,000 to do a car
No,
or that.
no, no. And then again, that's, not to get off subject, but that's a number that you could reflect on based on your time and the value of your time, because the product, right? That's secondary. That does help the numbers go up because you're selling a premium service, a premium product, but it's still your time that's invested on doing that application from start to finish to be able to get numbers like you just mentioned. But yes, he helped with that platform. And you guys as a team, I would say, put in that effort as well. You, Ivan, Chris, everybody who was on board at the time of that era, to say that helped propel it, because look what the rest of the market's done now with other companies in ceramic. I mean, even Owner's Pride. I mean, now there's a platform for everybody to stand on because consumers and detailers are buying the crap out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and had no idea at the time. I remember having some stuff in a tube and rubbing it on the car, just thinking this is some shenanigans. Honestly, is kind of what I thought at first. But all the ceramic coatings have again just transformed our industry into. I mean, gosh, how many houses has it bought for people?
It's definitely been able to set people up with capital, promising capital, and change their lifestyles, their home life, wife, kids, family, create, vacations and things of that nature that you just can't get if you were traditionally detailing. And if you were, you'd have to expand and franchise and go super in depth like a car wash with basic services and employees.
And how many people, I mean, I've seen a lot of people jump out of a college educated degree job, be it an engineer or whatever, to have a detailing business. And that wouldn't have happened before.
No, no. And it's crazy to think that, because, what we know as growing up and being American is, finish high school, go to college, get a degree, have a career. That's always been the momentum as the American dream to say. But to be able to leave all that time, money that was invested into going and through all that, all the way through college, obviously, there's a lot of money involved there. To leave that to detail, to wash cars, that says a lot. That shows a lot for our industry, because there are people who have master's degrees. I mean, when we were at Southern Detailers Conference, there was the woman there, Kelly Jones. I mean, she has a master's degree in financial stuff, and she's a full-time detailer.
That's so cool.
Isn't it? And it's like there's so much education behind that, and there's so much that was put into it to get to that point. But then you get to this where we have this industry that's flourishing, that can do the same, if not better, numbers for what somebody would want. And obviously that's self-motivation. But yeah, and I'm sure you've seen that with a lot of people that you've worked with.
Yeah, I mean, that's again, I get to live vicariously through a whole bunch of people's successes and failures, for that matter. Some people try and they take a swing, and I guess everybody can't do it. It takes a
No,
certain
no,
thing, but it's neat to be able to be a part and try to help push people along.
that's awesome. And now, as far as your transition with Opti to Owner's Pride, how did the opportunity of Owner's Pride come about with transitioning from one position to another with brands?
So my cheese had been moved where I was. Simple, easy enough, and needed new cheese. So I was definitely hunting for cheese. And Owner's Pride Detail Shop in Omaha actually had been one of my customers when I was a regional manager. And
So,
they have a
not to interrupt, but that was, you said Owner's Pride was a detail shop. Because I don't think a lot of people understand or know that it was actually a detail shop out the gate before it was this big brand that it is now.
yeah, they were my customers, and they were a thriving detail shop in Omaha, Nebraska. And Damon, he's the founder. He's just I guess he's a guy with a bigger vision. And he met Eric. We have a really dynamic team. Like, the four main owners of the company are, they could be like a boy band. You've got the sensitive one who's good with numbers, and you've got, the sporty one. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah.
what's neat is how they're dynamic. So you've got one person that really just fills each of the components to make a really good team at the top. So I guess Damon had been at a dinner party, and he met Eric, and Eric was on the dealership side of the world with Custom Dealer Solutions. And they started talking, and they said, hey, we should do a business together. And instead of selling other people's products, we have the connections to ECP and to chemists, and why don't we make our own line of products, and instead of selling somebody else's. So they started off developing the whole concept of Owner's Pride car care products. And then I had gotten tapped because I was on the hunt myself, and I had some knowledge of the industry and good connections, and I guess I'm not a douche.
So, and then when you came into being part of Owner's Pride, what positions have you, what did you start out with to where you are now? I know it's been kind of short term comparison to your past life with Opti and being, and having your detail business, but what did you start as? Where are you at now with the development of it in your position?
I guess I was the hired in as vice president of business development. Now I'm president of business development and a minority partner in the business, as I've earned my place at the table a little bit. And it's been really fun. And, at 52 years old, this is exactly where I want to be. I want to just, kick butt for the next 15 years and help grow something and be a part of something bigger than myself. And this is exactly where to do it, because, with the complexity of the team that's behind us, and, there's money behind it, and everybody is just hyper focused on growing a big, thriving business. So it's, the reins and the shackles are off, and everybody's just you know, everybody has got what they're working on, and we all come together a couple times a week and have a meeting and, you know, make sure everybody's lined up together, and then you split back off and everybody's working on what their goals are. And we launched, gosh, the second week of February, which was 2 weeks before COVID shut the world down.
Yeah.
That was a pretty daunting feeling just as we lifted off the ground.
But the growth you guys have had in regards to the installer network has been pretty solid.
It's just been insane. It's, you know, grown exponential growth right through a global pandemic, which I think the entire detailing industry did pretty well.
Yeah, a lot automotive based, done body shop, mechanic, everybody kind of just went crazy with, you know, getting new customers onboarding and just everybody wanting to do something to their vehicle in general.
Even in the 2008 downturn, when I had my detailing business, I skated right through that. You know, I was set up with clients who were affluent enough that they were absolutely fine. They just wanted a clean Mercedes to go get in.
That's when I started in 2008. So I get it. Yeah, I really didn't see any effect from it because I didn't know any different. So, I mean, I got through it. Obviously, I'm still here and running a business, but you know, when you don't know any better and you're starting during those times, you work with what you have and you feel that that's just what it is. So yeah, no, that's cool though that you're able to get through it. Now with Owner's Pride, you know, being new to the market, the new guy on the block to say, even though you've got some, you know, yourself and other people who are well seasoned in the ceramic category, what is the benefits? What is the biggest thing that makes you guys stand out differently than everything else that is offered in the industry with your brand, with Owner's Pride?
So back as I built a dealership program, I had learned about compliant warranties, and which I didn't even really know the word compliance before that. I mean, I'd heard it, but it didn't register. But I learned of all of the legal aspects of a compliant warranty. And with our affiliation to ECP, we have one of the largest admin companies in the country that we work with, and we're able to sell all of the warranties just like you would get at a dealership, which are filed and approved in the states they need to be filed and approved in. And they're all completely compliant and legal. They have the name of the third party insurer on it. There's a 1-800 number. There's no nonsense that would kick a warranty to be non-compliant, like say you have to come back every year to pay money to have something done to a car. Which it's just kind of, it's still the Wild West as far as that goes in the detailing world currently.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that but I'll let you continue and then we'll revisit that for that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we can jump, you know, and again, my goal is only to ever talk about what I have, not about what somebody else doesn't have.
Correct.
You know, I would never say a poor word about anybody. There's a lot of great products out there. But I feel if you're going to set yourself up in business for the long, not for the short, not to get some money right now to get that $2,000 job, but for your long run, for your business to be here in 10 years, doing things that are legal and by the book and, you know, by the rules, that's just integrity and ethical business. And I know there's a lot of enforcement for warranty compliance in the dealership world because there's so much money. It's so much bigger, and it's, you know, centralized with an office where they have people who enforce that.
Yeah.
In the detail world, again, it's still kind of the Wild West. You can basically take a crayon and write warranty, you know, with backwards R's on a piece of paper and say, here's your warranty. And
well, and let's face it too, the person that's talking about the warranty sometimes isn't the best educated or can speak very well. So trying to explain what the terms and conditions are and what it all involves, that could kind of go sideways because they're not very educated to begin with. And they're trying, give them credit on that. But sometimes when you don't know and you try to explain it, you make things worse. And that's where it can make things sticky with the customer understanding what the warranty is from that specific manufacturer.
yeah. I think also, you know, detailers over time, because of that, have sort of been shafted a little bit or stung a little bit by having a warranty claim where they kind of got the runaround maybe and ended up just, doing some work on the car themselves to remedy whatever the issue might have been. And with what we have, you make a 1-800 number call, whether you get your coating installed in Dayton, Ohio, and you move to Saskatoon, Canada, you can call the same 1-800 number and somebody is going to handle that warranty claim. They'll send you to somewhere to get it fixed. And again, I'm looking to, be a part of a team where we're building business for the long haul.
Correct. Correct. And that's where, like you said, integrity, right? I mean, sometimes just taking it in and doing the right thing for the customer and just taking care of it. I mean, if the job is not too big and it's just a panel or a spot, why not, right? You don't have to nickel and dime the customer, then they're a return customer, and that in itself, you can't put a dollar on for that kind of retention. So keeping them happy is the biggest goal. And those little things tend to do that.
Yeah. And now what if you say you could do that and the company that you're selling the coating for actually paid you for your labor to do said work,
Bingo. That's even better.
It's just, and I would like to see over time, everybody just rise up and play on the same exact level playing field and for the good of the industry and to protect all of the people that are working so hard in the industry.
Yeah,
it would be terrible to see somebody actually, get in trouble for not doing things the right way.
So I know, like window tint, for example, we do window tint here at the shop, and we work with Lumar, which is Eastman, and they have, I mean, if they trust you and you have a warranty you got to handle, you just submit it and they pay you for your time for that warranty, for the removal and the film of what was used. I mean, so there's no hassle there, no kickback, no, oh, I got to get it approved by this person, that person. This is a legit warranty. I'm sending it in. This is what we got going on. Boom. Within a week or so or a month at most, you'll get that returned for the payment of your labor and your cost of material. That is seamless. And that's where, of course we should be, but that leads into what you had mentioned, where understanding the warranties, right? Because let's face it, the coatings, when they come with a warranty, basic warranty, it's just on performance. It's warranting the overall performance of the product, not necessarily how it gets damaged in what shape or form. But that's where somewhere like Owner's Pride, where you guys being plugged in with ECP are able to take that to the next level and take care of those things, which I think that's the incentive, right? That's the extra value that you guys are applying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, again, it's doing business correct and doing it right and setting up for long. I think over time, either somebody is going to not honor a warranty and somebody's going to report them to somewhere and the house of cards is going to fall. It's a ticking time bomb, really.
Yeah, crap's going to hit the fan when it comes to that.
Yeah. And then, there's potential ways to help lead other people if anybody is interested, into becoming compliant also. Because
and that's just doing the work on the wrong vehicle, right? You get a lawyer's vehicle that something doesn't fall through and he's heavy in knowledge for law and boom, he's taking you to the cleaners.
Yeah. And the Magnuson-Moss Act is kind of what, and the Federal Trade Commission are what govern warranty sales, whether you're buying a warranty for headphones or a mattress or a couch or your ceramic coating. It's the same basic outline of rules that governs the whole thing.
Now, you had mentioned earlier about, not having to proceed with an annual type maintenance, obviously, for the compliance of the warranty. Mm-hmm. But would you still recommend that there's still the maintenance that's done in between? Because we know that customers, they have good intentions, but they don't always keep up with the way that they can. They may pay for the most premium treatment, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the most premium outcome because of their way that they care for the vehicle. So, I mean, is there still a level of maintenance that you guys are recommending in regards to keeping up with things so performance is on point?
Well, of course,
I gotta ask, it's not because there's some people out there that I kid you not, that I've seen it on social media, and you may have seen it too, Dan, where they're just like, if this coating's so good, we don't need no maintenance. And they're telling that to their customers. And it's like, wait a sec, let's debunk this for a moment while we're on the subject.
Yeah, that's unfortunately some, companies may market things to be a little more sensational than they are. we'll say, right? Again, we like to really stay based in reality. Now, any ceramic coating, if you drive around in the winter time, you're going to notice like your paint will be dead behind the tires where the salt is kicking up, and occasionally you're gonna have to do decon wash, or a lot of the hydrophobic properties on a car will also be from, if there's fallout all over the car,
Mhm.
it's
Gets
gonna,
clogged to say.
yeah, it's gonna monkey with that too. Being as we have an entire line of really efficient products, and when I detailed, probably about 70% of my customers would buy a maintenance kit after I did a ceramic coating or a full detail. Now, did they use it? No, because I'd go back a year later and that same bucket with all the products in it and the microfiber towels folded
Still in
just
the
like I
trunk.
left them were all just sitting there. So that's the first thing. We try to educate your customer and say, look, this isn't going to stop an asteroid from scratching your paint or, doing some damage. You wash it every couple weeks. And it even says that in owner's manual of a car. You're supposed to wash them every couple weeks. And so we try to educate the people. And occasionally, it's like you said, it's going to get clogged perhaps, and you do a decon wash and everything pops right back out. We have a really cool product called Spotless. That's a light acid and it's safe on glass, but that seems to be what really just can pop a coating right back out, right back to life.
Yeah, and not to get too technical, but I remember Ivan, right, doing it was a write-up or a video or something in regards to traditional wheel acid diluted properly and used properly. Let's state that used properly could also, fit in that same category of treatment to say. Now I'm not going to speak on how, because I know people listen. They're like, oh, I got wheel acid. I could just give this a try. And I don't want that to happen, because there could be some very bad things that come with that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, having that acid kind of mixture to say, or formulation, is a huge help for, I've noticed, kind of resetting the surface value of the characteristics of the coating.
Yeah. And that's why we brought Spotless to the market, was because we didn't want people mixing hydrofluoric or ammonium bifluoride, which is a derivative of, and just willy-nilly out there shooting acid all over, because
Yeah.
that is dangerous, and it builds cumulatively in your bones. And
Oh, and yeah, and you breathe it in, or putting it in your foam cannon and going at it. I've seen people
torn it
actually
apart.
do that. Yeah, they're, oh my gosh. It's bad enough when you spray it and you get the wind coming the wrong way right back into your face and it takes your breath away, but damn, you're just asking for it. Anything else?
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've done that out, being mobile and breathed in a mist of ammonium bifluoride acid. So terrible.
So give me the product lineup. Let me know where you guys are at right now with, again, being since last February, and your lineup is unique and boutique to say. So what does that lineup consist of right now?
Well, the kind of the center of our universe, and what really makes a lot of sense with half of the country and being drying up right now, is our Eco Wash. It's a rinseless wash. It's an incredible product. It's dilutable at 512 to 1, which
Oh,
is
damn.
actually too efficient in my opinion as a chemical salesperson. But we use it on the inside of our house, on the wood floors. Amazing on stainless steel. Like, it'll take all those streaks right off. You can use it on the outside of your car. It's pH balanced at 7, so you can use it on carpets and it's not going to, turn brown or get crispy and re-attract dirt as if you had too high or too low of a pH product. You can put it in your extractor. It is a really great product. A
Very
good
nice.
center of the universe for any detailing business.
Nice. And what else is there in regards to the lineup? You can
Well,
just
then
give me you don't have to go too far in depth in them, but just kind of top on the surface is more of a bullet point.
yeah, a really great ceramic drying aid that we have, a ceramic spray, a stackable SiO2 spray, ceramic detail spray. Probably my favorite product in the line. It smells good, and it's really amazing. It's really my favorite. And we're constantly working to develop and expand our line. with the partners that we have. So it's just getting started. We launched a new website and a complete rebranding yesterday, just a year and a
I
half
did
in.
see that. I do like the rebranding with everything. That looks really nice.
Yeah, we switched gears to a second marketing company that's a much larger entity, and really with our success that we had, and really are putting the pedal to the metal to go, get over the next hill.
Very nice. Now with the coatings that you guys are offering, what's in the lineup for that?
So we're bringing all the new programs that are just launching right now, but there's the car, vehicles with a 7-year, a 3-year, and a 5-year, and a 1-year, which are the other year are gonna hop on here real soon, but it's a 7-year warranty right now, and a
Gotcha.
3-year and a 1-year.
And these are single layer applications?
Yes. Yeah. Our focus is on helping build a business and spending more time taking your money to the bank and less time walking around the car putting coatings on it.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it a
And
lot.
if you have a compliant real warranty that's backing everything, and it's truly going to cover everything that warranty says, then you're good to go. You're covered.
Nice.
We just are dropping right now an RV program, which a full compliant warranty. So this is going to open the door up to new channels of detailing that we haven't even touched yet. So an RV, a boat, I believe there's a dent and ding. There's a glass warranty with a 3 and a 5-year term. With an I believe that it's a $2,500 aggregate and a $5,000 aggregate that includes resetting the sensors in your lights, which is
Oh,
really
wow.
expensive on its own part.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So that lineup, I mean, at that point, I mean, you've got everything covered in regards to the short term to the long term, of course. That way the customers that maybe just want to get their feet wet, because I still see it. I mean, there's customers that are still not fully aware what a ceramic is, even though they're now coming in and asking versus, gosh, 2013, 2012, when they didn't even know what that was. It was snake oil to them, right? But now that they're asking it, it gives them an advantage if they want to get into a 1-year, which is, I think, a good sweet spot for them to understand the characteristics and see what it's all about. That way they don't have a major investment, but at the same time, they got their feet wet. So a year passes, they could come back and revisit a reapplication of something better or the same.
It's a gateway coating.
There you go. I like it. Gateway coding. No, I've seen a lot of good content as far as videos and feedback in regards to the network of installers who are using the owner's pride product line, especially with the ceramic. So it's definitely a very positive thing that I'm watching happen in the industry, and it's with being the new guys on the block, it's really nice to see that you guys are getting that kind of positive feedback.
Yeah, our installer network is our lifeblood. And so from businesses who are long and established that work with us to, new guys starting out that we can help guide. Without them, we'd just be sitting in a warehouse full of a whole bunch of chemicals.
Hopefully with mask on, so you're not inhaling all those chemicals. So what's the 2021 year look like? I know with opening back up and us having SEMA on the horizon, are you guys, one, going to be attending SEMA and having a booth, and two, is there going to be some new products, which you don't have to mention what they are, but is there going to be some new products that people could look forward to seeing at the SEMA event if you attend?
Yeah, so the Southern Detailers Conference, which we were just at a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. Crazy how time flies. That was our very first trade show, and we had a brand new booth made. We will be at Mobile Tech Expo in Vegas. Eric and myself are doing a warranty compliance talk at that, also called
Nice.
Warranty Compliance, Just the Facts. And we will also be at SEMA. Neat how SEMA has a brand new show floor, new hall built, because even being a new company, we are on the main show floor for our first year, and usually it takes a few years to get there.
It does. So, yeah, you've got to be a veteran. You've got to be in there. You got to, yeah, all these stipulations that they had. But I remember that place being built. That's what they used to do the aftermath drive out of SEMA into that parking lot.
That's where it
And
is?
yeah, that's the new building. So they used to always have, I forget what it was called, like, there's a title for it that they have every year where all the vehicles drive out, and then there's a big parking lot get together with some of the automotive celebrities, and just doing a big thing over there. And they took that parking lot, and that's where they started the build out of the new building, and it's huge, absolutely huge. So it should be a nice setup, especially with it being fresh, new everything.
Man. So I'm just beyond pleased that we were able to make it onto the main show floor. I was so not looking forward to being in a hall that was 2 miles over that way with, next to an outdoor truck company and, something that was not relevant really at all.
Yeah. And if you've talked to people in the past, it's not a lot of foot traffic, and most people are very unhappy with the locations when they're new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we know, we're here to play and we're here to stay, and we're pulling all the stops. So we're hitting the trade shows. If you want to compete, you got to get out there and compete with everybody. You can't just,
Yeah. 100%. If you're looking to want to be on the platform in general, you got to show up to these kind of shows for sure. Now, you have anything you guys are going to be launching that's going to be kind of new and exciting for SEMA? Anything in the works?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in the works. All I can
Good.
do is smile though.
Good. That's all we need. But that gives light at the end of the tunnel, right? That gives the network to be like, ooh, I gotta go to SEMA. That's the other thing, right? Get them to the show for networking in general, but also being able to come visit you guys at the booth.
Yeah, again, with the guys that are on this team, they're just so focused on growing a business. It's just really refreshing and fun. It's so fun to be a part of, because it's just constant pedal to the metal.
That's awesome. It's very cool. Well, as far as time goes, we're right up on that time frame. Do you have any last words of advice that you could give any of the detailers or viewers in regards to business detail, and you name it, just something that they could take away from you?
Well, so I do a podcast also, and it's called the Owner's Pride Podcast, and it kind of pigeonholes me sometimes into maybe you're listening to this and you think, well, I don't use Owner's Pride products, so I wouldn't listen to it. But honestly, I try to really bring information that is going to be helpful and beneficial to the entire detailing community. And it's not just jamming products down people's throat type of a podcast. I mean, I've had people on there from investments to talk about retirement, which is a really hot point for me and a lot of the young guys and a lot of the detailers in general who they don't have an IRA and they're not saving any money up for their future. And while there's no advantage in me telling people or helping guide them to do so, it's just very meaningful to me because I want them to look back when they retire, and I'll probably be dead. If you're 20 years old right now and you start an IRA and I help kick you in that direction, by the time you start taking money out of it, I'm probably going to be dead, but you're going to look back and you're going to think that little bald-headed bastard was all right. So it's things like that. Marketing companies, we stay agnostic to whoever our network of installers use. So I try to bring a lot of the different companies who do marketing and sales help and the CRMs so they can all make their presentation to the people, because if you set yourself up for success, again, that's how you have to do it for the long haul. And I really just want to see people succeed.
I love that approach. That's nice. You're absolutely right. It's not, and that's, just with this podcast, it's not about the brand. I mean, that helps to capture a certain audience, but it's the person that's in front of us and the information and the story they're telling. That's the value. That's what makes the difference, because there's a different perspective. Just because they play for one team doesn't mean they're not playing for the big picture. And that's what we're all here for our industry. And we just have different perspectives and different approaches to that, which there's nothing wrong with. I mean, that's the whole point, right? If we all did it the same way, it'd be boring and just numbing.
And if you see me at SEMA or one of these shows and we have not spoken, what I just realized is there's so many people in the industry. While I was at my last company, I was really kept my blinders on and just kind of focused on my own company, right? And so I was walking by the booth across from us at the Southern Detailers Conference, and the Andy B. Cool guy was there. And
Yep.
so we kind of like both head nodded at each other. And then I stopped and I backed up and I was just like, hey man, I've seen you around for years, but we've never met. My name is Dan Williams. And just say hello. Say
Yeah.
hello. I can't unreal that I can see people for years and years at trade shows and I've never even said hello to them, who at the end of the day, we're all really doing the same thing, trying to grow a company and trying to help other people grow their company at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect statement because that happens a lot, whether it be social media or all of us who go to shows all the time. Sometimes we just have our blinders on and we're go, go, go. And it kind of gets away from us from being able to just stop and say, hey, for a moment.
Yeah, there's
Nice
a
to
lot of
meet you.
great people out there. Yep.
There is. Well, cool, Dan. Well, thank you for being on. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, your story, and of course, everything you've done with the industry and what you're doing now in the direction of, taking owner's pride and helping out with with the legit warranty side of our industry and being, very instrumental with that. So thank you. And thank you, everybody who is at home watching. Again, this is Reflection Artist Live, episode number 34 with Dan Williams. So Dan, I appreciate it. Tell all the guys at Owner's Pride, thank you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you have a great day. And everybody who had the opportunity to listen, watch, or at a later date watch, thank you again and take care.
Thank you.